Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Things are getting wild. There's now 12. There is now 12 researchers, ufologists, that have been either gone missing or are, I guess, unalive. We can't say this is coincidence anymore, guys. We really can't. Coincidences 2, 3. Coincidences maybe even 4. At this stage now, we have to accept that this is something more than coincidence, okay? So the breaking news of the last 24 hours, the UFO researcher called David Wilcock, sorry, not Dan, is dead. This is a lot more than coincidence. So in this live stream, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about what we know. We're also going to be talking about the other 11 that have mysteriously been, I don't know, vanished, dead, self-deleted. And I'm going to come back to months ago I said this. There are 3 potential options now. There's 3 potential options. The first option is, and I said this, remember when Jeremy Corbell came out and he said that there is that the lie you're going to be told is that there is an alien craft slowly making its way to Earth. And that's the lie you're going to be told. I called it there and then. I said, right, there's too much chatter now. There's too much chatter. There's been too much subliminal build-up. So I've got quite a few videos to share with you guys. Before we do that, I'm just going to give you guys a quick update on what we know so far. So the incident regarding David Wilcock, who is a well-known American YouTuber, he's a prominent figure in the UFO disclosure community, is reported to have died Monday, the 28th of April, at the age of 53. What we know so far is the incident details are that there was a 911 call around 10:44 local time regarding a man experiencing a mental health crisis. Deputies arrived and found a man outside a residence holding a weapon. Within minutes, he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Now, I'm sorry. This is starting to become, it seems like it's just there screaming right in front of you. I can't take this as a, I can't take this anymore as, something that you can write off. I just can't take it as something you can write off as coincidence or there's something else, US Representative Paulina Luna publicly announced on X, we just learned of the tragic passing of David Wilcock. We are praying for his family and loved ones and the millions of lives he impacted. She also referenced the broader context about missing or dead scientists and quoted John 8:32. Now, I'll come on to that later. There's so much crazy stuff happening right now. More people are starting to look at this. More people are starting to look back at this this 3-body problem. And I called this a while ago. I said, listen, guys, if you were, we're talking about aliens, UFOs. We're talking about, guys, I've got so many videos to share with you guys today. If you were an alien race and you were going to attack the Earth, you would start taking out key personnel before you got there. Absolutely, you would. you would people who could build anybody. When you're in the military, right? If you're doing a sniper course, there's a chain that you want to start taking out. First of all, you want to take out the communications, right? It doesn't really matter on Earth because we can't, it's not like we can get on the radio and, communicate with anyone, right? So first of all, you take out the any signalers, right? You take out the signalers, because if they can't signal, then they can't get any reinforcements. You then take out any weapon systems that can reach you. So if they have like a 50 cal machine gun, you take out the machine gunner, because you don't want to start shooting at people and be able, and somebody be shoot back. You want to protect yourself, right? You then start taking out the leadership. Anybody with knowledge, or anybody can organize, or anybody who knows what's happening. So that's what it looks like. That's, to me anyway, looks like what could be happening. So I'm going to start with a Piers Morgan video. First video I'm going to share with you guys is a Piers Morgan. Now, wherever you are on this, guys, whatever you think is happening, I don't know, but this has now become mainstream. This has 100% become mainstream. So let's share this first video. I've not seen this video, by the way.
Forgiven end of.
Well, let me start with a very direct question. Do you believe aliens exist?
Yes, sir, I do. Yes, sir, I do. I'm a Christian, and it doesn't. I'm on the forgiven end of the Christian spectrum. I'm not here to proselytize or save your soul, but I just tell you that for background. Genesis 1, chapter 1, God created the heavens and the earth. You look at the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel saw the wheel, and it described a wheel within a wheel with some sort of landing craft, gear that came down from it. In a wheel, back in biblical times, the most advanced technological machinery they had was a wheel. So that's what they were describing as close as they could describe it. We've seen too much. I've seen too much. Not myself personally, but when I've been briefed by government officials, video, pictures, some of the best trained pilots in the world have described having close collisions with some sort of aircraft or apparatus. And so I think it's time that they come clean. I don't know if it's about little green men or flying saucers, Mr. Morgan, but I do think it's about disclosure. It's about transparency. And you, as a member of the media, should be all for that regardless. I just want to know what we're spending tens of millions of dollars on.
Now, whatever you take of that, this has gone from, whatever your take on this has gone from a fringe topic to mainstream. This has gone from, people talking with little green hats on to, primetime media now. So let me share this. So this is David Wilcock. Now, this was his last live stream, okay? I'm really struggling with how this seems to just fit in place perfectly. So this was his last live stream. Let me share this with you guys. So if you guys have been following me, I'm reading the Book of Enoch because of that woman. She said, everybody should read the Book of Enoch. It's dark. It really is, guys. It's dark. The amount of unaliving that happens in the Book of Enoch is phenomenal. Like in the Book of Enoch, like if you've done something wrong, you get to watch bad things, your children will be transcended to beams of light. Then you will be transcended to beams of light. And it's just crazy. The Book of Enoch is wild. So this was his last stream before his last stream.
Anna Paulina Luna's again telling us to look at the She's a congressional representative. Look at the Book of Enoch. It has a solar flash in there. I showed you guys that before. I mean, it is just such a wild time to be alive.
It is, guys. This is a wild time to be alive. And there, you know, there's these references to the Book of Enoch and these biblical texts, and it's very difficult to not start to put these things together. It really is. Right, I'm going to start with some videos. I've got right. Let's go with this one. So this is Jesse Michaels. He does some great content.
During the Bush administration, key players in the federal government were urged to read the Chinese science fiction novel, The Three-Body Problem.
So did you know that? Like, did you know that back in the, I think it said the Bush? Sorry, let's read that. So back in the Bush era, the government were urged to read the novel Three-Body Problem. Guys, look, I do my own stuff. I do my own stuff. I was talking about this a long time ago because I connect these dots real quick.
During the Bush administration, key players in the federal government were urged to read the Chinese science fiction novel, The Three-Body Problem, written by a power plant engineer, Xijin Liu. It's about tri-Solarian extraterrestrials forced out of their own unstable solar system and headed for Earth. The tri-Solarians systematically monitor, mess with, and sometimes even kill human scientists at the frontier of human ingenuity. These are usually...
Now, does that sound familiar? It's very difficult to not put these things together, right? We've now got 12 prominent figures in this space who are either missing or KIA. And it's very difficult not to put this together. It is. Jeremy Corbell, January last year, said that there's going to be a craft heading towards us. This push in the United States for disclosure. And look, it could still be some sort of psychological warfare. It could just be somebody, it could be the government messing with us because they want something else. It could be that Project Blue Book or whatever it is. I don't know, but what I do know is this topic has now hit mainstream. And I think, and I know. I don't think I know. This subject matter is going to be the biggest topic very soon. It is, guys. It's going to be the biggest topic very soon that we are talking about.
People working on nuclear, plasma, and particle accelerator physics. Sounds kind of familiar. Basically, the scientists that control the rules of reality itself. So why was the upper echelon of the American government reading this book? Why did a presidential advisor named Harold Malmgren, who worked directly with JFK, LBJ, Nixon, and Ford, and who was briefed on UFOs, why did he tell me that this is how the non-human intelligences operate, by tracking the frontier of human innovation? Why was Harold's daughter, Pippa, who was on George W. Bush's National Economic Council, tasked with reading The Three-Body Problem?
This just gets wilder. Like the ground level, so the ground has been saturated now with so much information, so many little data points of information involving this. It really is phenomenal, the amount of airtime that this is getting, and it's just expanding. It's just expanding now. Very soon, something's going to happen, and it's going to be all over.
And if connecting missing and dead scientists with aliens sounds super far-fetched, I get it. But it's worthy asking yourself why UFOs so very often seem to cluster around the very technologies that define strategic power. They show up at nuclear sites across the United States and the world.
So I'll be on, I keep saying this because I'm genuinely sat on the fence here. And I don't do these videos saying like, oh, little green men are here and they're probing everybody. What I'm doing is I'm giving you guys the evidence that I can see, and I'm trying to unpack it, right? Earlier, like on another live stream a while ago, we got into like a bit of a debate about what evidence you would accept as proof of extraterrestrials. And then I started to go through my own prejudice and thinking, right, even if I was presented with real evidence there in front of me, I'm not, I don't know if I would, what I would do. Can you guys remember a while back, there was the, go on. There was the SpaceX craft and it came over the UK and there was like these blue spirals in the sky. As crazy as this sounds, I was literally closing the gate, I was closing the garden gate at that time, and I looked up and I saw this, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, what is that? Now I looked and I thought, right, well, that way is north. I thought, right, it's moving west to east, so it's more than likely, there's a high likelihood that it's from the US. But I got back in the house and I just sat down. I didn't say a word. I just sat down and I was like, what have I just seen? And I literally just sat in silence for about 10 minutes. Literally sat in silence in my chair for about 10 minutes. What I'm getting at here is, like, even if you were presented with evidence, even for myself, I don't know where those goalposts of acceptance would be. I don't know where those goalposts of acceptance would be. Right, let me jump onto the chat. I don't think it was a satellite. It was a launch from SpaceX. Yeah, that's what it was. Jess is, oh, hang on, let me put the chat on. Sorry, guys. Jess is saying twice this week the moon has gone below the horizon, and apparently that's normal. So why in my 50 years I've never seen the moon going down? I've never seen that either, Jess. I've never seen that either. I don't know, Jess. Don't know. I can't answer that question for you. What I can say though is, I think we get gaslit quite a lot, right? Because the moon's kind of like, it moves like that, doesn't it? And I didn't know the moon moved like that. The moon's weird, guys. It is. The moon is weird. Sean, what with Clinton body count, Seth Rich, I'd say Democrats instead of aliens, except perhaps illegal ones. Right, I don't know who Seth Rich is, but I know I have heard about the Clinton body count. I've heard about the Clinton body count. Right. Okay. So right. The Watchman. I know the Watchman is a little bit skeptical. Okay. I know the Watchman is skeptical. So, the Watchman, just for me, what would you accept? For me and Kimmy, what would you accept the Watchman as proof of alien life? Like, what would you accept? What is that one thing that you would accept? And I know what you're going to say. If I can see it, and if I can physically see it, okay. Do you believe in Wi-Fi? Like, do you believe in Wi-Fi, or is Wi-Fi not real? Is Wi-Fi not real? Right. I've got some more videos to share with you guys as well. Have we done that one? We've done that one. Right. I've got another I've got another Jesse Michaels video to share with you guys. I've not seen this one, so let's throw this one up again. Hang on, is it that one? Yeah. Okay, so what he's talking about here is the 11. I don't even have enough fingers. What he's talking about is the 11. We now have 12, and I've just looked at an update. We may even have, 13. Honestly, guys, I'm just looking at some news here. I'll try and look onto this later. Yeah, this is yesterday. Okay, I'm just looking at this military veteran with NASA ties, along with his family, unalive in a plane crash. I'm going to have to look back on that, guys, because I don't really know what that's about. So what he's talking about here is the 11. And while we're talking about numbers, ladies and gentlemen, can you do me a real big favor if you're watching right now? Can you please just hit that like button? Honestly, it really does help me out. I've been on this channel now for over a year. And I've been doing constant videos for, I think, maybe like 6 or 8 months, constant live streams. I didn't realize until like a couple of days ago that when you guys hit that like button, it really does help this channel out, because it pushes it out with, it pushes the visibility out. It's free, just a little tap of your beautiful fingers. I really appreciate it, guys. So let's see what Jess is saying about the 11. But remember, there's now 12.
What do you call it when a retired Air Force general, one who once ran the most notorious lab in UFO history, vanishes from his house in broad daylight?
The general was involved with the Pentagon's most advanced aerospace research.
When the NASA material scientist behind a breakthrough rocket engine alloy disappears 30 feet from her friend on a hike.
What? How is that possible, guys? How is that how do you disappear? Like 30, imagine you're walking, right? Right, come on, hurry up. You know that person who she was with, right? That person who she was on the hike with, she knows where she lost her friend, right? So worst case scenario, you search all the way around there and you find that, if they're not there, if they've tripped and fell and they're unalive, you find that body. How have they not found her? Phenomenal. It just gets weirder.
She was right behind them, 30 feet behind them, and then she disappeared.
When one of MIT's top plasma physicists is gunned down outside his own front door.
Okay, so that plasma physicist he was talking about, that plasma physicist he was talking about, I did a live stream a couple of days ago about him, and he was saying that the poles, the North and South Pole, they flip every now and then. Well, I said not every now and then. Every I think 12,000 years, around 12,000 years, they flip. That's what he was saying. Now he was, as it said.
Many top scientists getting killed or going missing in just under a year. Looks like a major red flag.
Who were the first people the Israelis killed in Iran when they went in? The first thing you do is kill your scientists.
So remember, earlier on, and this is a 3-body problem. Earlier on, I was talking about this. I was talking about you have a kill chain, right? If aliens are coming, I don't know if they are. If aliens are coming, you're not gonna take out Karen at the tills in Asda, right? You're not gonna, it makes no sense taking Karen out in the tills in Asda. You're gonna take out those leading engineers, pioneers, and people at the forefront of that technology that could be built to make some sort of resistance for when you get here. Now, this is actually good news. This is good news, guys, and I'll come on to that afterwards, after I've done this segment.
It's the kind of thing that sounds like the Chinese science fiction book, The Three-Body Problem, a world where scientists don't just make discoveries, but become the front line of a war they don't even know they're in. A world where the future rests on some of the most important minds on Earth, and those minds start disappearing. Except here, the names and the people behind them are real.
CS went missing after taking lunch to her teenage daughter at a cafe in Taos Plaza.
What we're looking at might not just be geopolitics in the dark or pressure coming from nation states, but from an unseen force shaping our timeline.
I know this sounds wild, right? It does. It sounds wild. It sounds insane. And I have a very difficult time. With this. However, that's what the evidence that we're being presented is showing us. Now, the question I asked the chat earlier was, what evidence would you accept? Because I'm waiting for that. I've not seen a smoking gun, so my two options are: it's either real or it's psychological warfare.
Somewhere above it, and a hidden struggle over who gets to control humanity's next leap. Or maybe none of these cases are connected.
It's really sensitive stuff, and I'm not a big believer in coincidences.
So tonight we're following the trail through missing scientists, murdered physicists, defense world gatekeepers, in the strange shadowland that forms wherever advanced knowledge becomes too dangerous to leave walking around.
So, let's just go with right? Let's just go with if there is a craft, right? And they're on their way, and they are trying to take out, in fact, this is a live stream on its own. If there is a craft or an armada, and it's heading towards Earth, and they are having to take, and they're starting to take out our lead scientists right now, that means that we have a chance, right? That means that we have a chance. That means that it's not going to be as much of a whitewash, total Independence Day, apocalypse like, or what's the word? Is it Skyfall? The Nightfall? Skyline. It's not going to be an absolute whitewash, because why would they start to take out anyone who could develop technology to defeat them before they got here if they had technology that was so far advanced they were going to beat us easily anyway? You just wouldn't bother. You just say, yeah, we're coming. Yeah, we're going to be there in a year. There's nothing you guys can do, so whatever. Just Bix is saying a cloaked jet flying over the base we live by. What do you mean cloaked? I don't know what do you mean cloaked? What do you mean cloaked? Endeavour to Preserve is saying, never underestimate the evil people in the Islamic regime are more likely to be responsible for the missing people. That could be true. This could be true. It could be some sort of government, it could be some sort of, let's not listen. It could be the Chinese. It could be the Iranian sleeper cells. It could be the Russians. Anything. Rocketeer is saying, I predict Bob Lazar is going to get deleted next. Yeah, listen, if you're Bob Lazar, you've got to be, well, no, I don't know, actually. Maybe. Like, Bob Lazar's not in that sphere anymore, right? So, first of all, Rocketeer, yes, potentially, right? So, allegedly, Bob Lazar has had access to these programs. But equally, he's not at the forefront, right, of that technology. So maybe not. Kimmy is saying, yes, the same dark forces that are behind the Epstein files. Right, guys, I'm going to give you my theory, and I've given it lots of times. I've given you guys this lots of times. I've not changed my theory. I've not changed my theory. Now, I don't know whether this information is going to be real or false, but this is what I think is going to happen. All right? I promise you, this is what I think is going to happen. 2025. Epstein files released. What the Epstein files did was that brought into everyone's consciousness adrenochrome, beef jerky, pizzas, hot dogs, right? Baal worship, right? 2026, we are going to be told that alien life exists. It's been visiting us on Earth, and we have evidence. And there's going to be a lot of people ticking those boxes saying, yep, these are the aliens, right? 2027, we are going to be told that aliens are on their way. Aliens are on their way. They're coming, and they are going to be here 2029, the 13th of April, to be specific, 2029. And they are going to come with the asteroid Apophis. They're going to either be hiding behind it, they're going to be on it, they're going to be shielding it. That's what I'm seeing. That's what the data points are pointing out to me. Sean Parsons is saying the moral of this story is don't be a scientist or a researcher or an engineer. Right. Hang on. Let me find the Watchman, because I asked the Watchman what he would accept. Sorry. I forgot how to talk. What the Watchman would accept. I'm not gullible. I've seen stuff in the sky you wouldn't have words for. Doesn't mean I have to believe booksellers and snake. Oh, right. So what? Okay, the Watchman. Okay, what would you actually accept, though? Is that your answer, Watchman? Right. Okay. Right. So I asked. Okay, so I put the question out, what would the Watchman, because the Watchman's very skeptical. I'm skeptical, guys. I'll be honest with you. I'm skeptical. I would say, hang on. I would say the likelihood of this is strongly pointing toward, well, I would say the likelihood is that this is a foreign government or the US government or something similar, and it's psychological warfare, all right? But it's not a non-zero chance that this is aliens as well, right? It's not. It absolutely is not. And I asked the Watchman what I'm assuming you're a man, the Watchman. I don't know. You might be a woman. I'm assuming you're a man. So I asked the Watchman what he would accept as evidence of extraterrestrial life, I guess. And he said to show us the proof, 0 point. I think you mean 0 point energy, I'm assuming, or an alien craft or footage that isn't BS. Okay, so then, and again, I'm not meaning to be like, honestly, I'm not meaning to be like negative. I'm just like, what would be proof of 0 point energy? Like, what would you accept as proof of 0 point energy? Because, there's lots of these, people who say they've done 0 point energy, whatever, and an alien craft. Like, and again, I'm going through this myself, right? Like, what would I accept as an alien craft? What would I accept, right? So let's just say, for entertainment purposes, right, that tomorrow Donald Trump comes out and he's like, yep, here's the alien spaceships. And straight away, you've got like three craft that look like they're out of this world. They're made of metal we assume it's metal. They're hovering with no forms of propulsion. How do I know that's alien? Seriously, guys, like, how do I know that's alien? And not some advanced prototype from, Lockheed or something. And this is what I'm going through in my head. Like, so I've kind of for me, I've given up on that question, I think. And I'll go back to something I've said a lot of times. The reality, I don't think the reality matters. It's the perception of that reality. So if the whole world's media are saying that aliens are real and these are alien craft, then guess what? I guess they are. If the whole world's media are saying, no, that's advanced human technology, then I guess they are. So, you know, it's just really difficult for me to try and to grasp my hands around what I personally would accept as proof. You know, and even if even if they wheeled out, I mean, I think for me to accept proof, I would have to go up on an alien ship. I would have to go full Enoch. I would, guys. I would have to go Enoch. A hovering Batman. It's not rocket science. Just tell the truth. Lots of Ians, or is that lands? Lots of Ians that like ale emerge from flying saucer. Well, I do like ale, guys. I do. I like ale as long as it's carbonated to a good degree. Every day, the fear is ramped up and amplified. It's been a theme for years. Listen, I do feel that this is gonna that this subject matter is gonna absolutely explode very soon. We are now on 12 scientists, researchers, ufologists that are no longer alive. And this is a tragic news, obviously, and it's always tragic when somebody loses their life, especially at an age of 53. David Wilcock is now, you know, reportedly gone. That puts the number up to 12 now. I've got another video to share with you guys now. And the reason I'm sharing this next video, as you guys know, because I keep saying it all the time, I'm reading the Book of Enoch. It's if anybody's ever read it or tried to read it, it's really difficult, right? It's so difficult to read. I can pretty much guarantee Tolkien's read the Book of Enoch. There is so many Tolkienisms, you know. There's so many Tolkienisms in the Book of Enoch, or maybe there's so many Enochisms in Tolkien's work. Yeah, that's how it is. Now, there's a very specific word that they mention quite a lot in the Book of Enoch, right? And they mention portals. They mention portals a lot. One of my mentors, he was a senior physicist, senior particle physicist at CERN. You guys can Google him. He's dead now. His name's I'm not going to give you his name, out of respect. His name's Steve Rucroft. Steve Reucroft. You guys can Google him if you want. Now he was one of the senior physicist, particle physicists, and he was saying to me, he was, you know, he used to live in Scarborough. And I used to go and see him quite a lot. And one of the things he used to say is he used to always talk about the Dunning-Kruger curve, right? And he used to say most physicists, they stop when they're high up and they think they know everything. And then you realize the older you get in physics, especially particle physics, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. And he's saying the more there is to learn, there's more questions. And he was saying that the more you learn, the more you go down this road of alternate science. He says, because things just don't make sense. He says it does not make sense. Anyway, this next video is about CERN. So let me share this with you guys. Oh, hang on a minute. Cosmic144 has become a member. Thank you, Cosmic144. Listen, I appreciate all the members, guys. I do. Thank you so much. I do members only videos. I get as many of those out to you guys as I can with stuff that's a little bit fringe, that maybe it's not 100% news. Certainly with the conflicts, certainly with the fringe stuff, certainly with aliens. I actually I did a members only video, and I gave you guys some updates on personal second, third, maybe third hand accounts I've got from Area 51. So thank you so much, Cosmic 144. Right, let's share this next video. Where is it? I forgot to share. There we are.
There are beings from portals.
Right, this word portals, right? This word portals, they talk like the word portals. It's probably, I mean, I'm on chapter 50, I don't know, 55 or something, in the book of Enoch. I'm on about chapter 55. And the word portals is mentioned so many times.
Coming in and out.
Beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes, they have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions.
She's not the only one talking about this. If you've seen the latest video, you know Dan Burish has been saying the same thing.
They are from the future, 45,000 years ahead of
45,000 years ahead on a separate timeline.
Okay. There's a lot of things in this video that are like whacking my spider senses. I had like this epiphany like a while ago that time isn't linear. We perceive time as linear, right? Because we're just going forwards. But what if time is meshed? But your perception, and it would be, the lattice would be phenomenal. It would be something you can't like, it would be something like your brain can't even comprehend. But what if time isn't linear? What if it's meshed? What if it's meshed in an infinite number of different realities?
What we are presently on.
People from the future coming through open portals. I can't even wrap my mind around it. And now to hear a...
That's actually one of the, that's actually really easy to wrap your mind around. I think it was Terence McKenna who said you can't drive where there's no roads. And what he was referring to is time travel. You won't be able to time travel until you've got a machine to do time traveling, but once you have, time travel is going to be everywhere.
CERN insider saying it out loud. But here's what's more disturbing.
When you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies. Intel, they say that there is a fight on time.
Okay, just quickly, CERN's a total civilian operation. There may be military under the books, but again, I never went to CERN. Steve died before I got a chance to go out there. I honestly, I'd kick myself for not going out there. He was actually working on nuclear fusion. I said, is it going to happen? He said, no, it'll never happen because we can't create the mass. We can't create the mass that's required on Earth. Anyway, so let's continue.
They're trying to change time.
Trying to change time or changing timelines. The cornucopia was there. Tinkerbell did dot the I in the Disney intro. Pikachu's tail had a black tip.
Yeah, that's one that does me, guys. That's the one that does me. Did Pikachu's tail have a black tip? I was too old. I'm too old for Pokemon cards, right? But I remember, I can almost see it now. I can remember seeing a teddy bear and saying, "What's this?" to, like, I don't know, a sister's kid or something. Oh, it's Pikachu. And I swear Pikachu had a black tail, but apparently not.
But now, they say it was never there. And there are dozens of examples just like this. And every single one of them messes with my head. Lately, I feel something is off. Something is wrong with time itself. I can feel it. And I know a lot of you can feel it too. I have this feeling that time is broken. It passes too fast, even if I stay and do nothing for an entire day. Okay, I know there are some scientific explanations for that, but what about the Mandela effect? How do you explain that? This is why I had to make a part 2, to put it all together. This CERN insider talking about portals and beings coming in and out, this feeling that time itself may be broken, the Mandela effects, and all these unanswered questions and doubts about what CERN is really doing. While researching this video, I came across someone named...
Right, I'm going to leave that there. I just wanted to throw that out there because about the portals thing. Because if you guys remember the last video that David Wilcock did, he was talking about the Book of Enoch, right? The last video that David Wilcock did, he was talking about the Book of Enoch, and you know, it's there's a song.
Anna Paulina Luna's again telling us to look at the. She's a congressional representative. Look at the Book of Enoch. It has.
The Book of Enoch. I've not got to the end of it yet. It's just there's a lot of information being thrown at us now.
There's a solar flash in there. I showed you guys that before. I mean, it is just such a wild time to be alive.
And it is a wild, and this, you know, tragically, this was his last stream. Hang on, let me just Google this. Book the Book of Enoch, specifically Enoch 1, does not explicitly use the term solar flash, but describes a dramatic cataclysm event involving the sun and heavenly bodies during a time of great sin and judgment, which many interpreters relate to a radical environmental or celestial change. Okay, so I've not got to this bit yet. This is Jesus. So this is let me share this actually. So I'm on about chapter 50 of the Book of Enoch, and this is in Enoch chapter 80, 2-8. Uriel reveals, so he's one of the, so Uriel is one of the good angels that is that's like guiding Enoch around and showing him things. Uriel reveals to Enoch that in the days of the sinners, the natural order will be upended. Now I don't know, guys. I'm just thinking about all these scientists that have gone missing, and I'm like, my go-to here is this pole shift. The sun will shine brighter than is normal, more brightly than accords with the order of light. The moon will alter her order and not appear at her proper time. The years will be shortened, so that means that the earth's moved closer to the sun, right? And the fruits of the earth will be withheld. The stars will change their orbits, and the heavenly order system that was set by God will be altered. Okay, so that to me is saying we're going to get hit by an asteroid. Listen, guys, I'm reading this in real time. But remember, Lorna Luna said, read the Book of Enoch. And all this stuff's there, guys. It's absolutely crazy. The Book of Enoch is wild. It's really difficult to read. Like I said, I think I'm on like chapter 55 or something. It doesn't read easy. It doesn't. It's not an easy read. It's not a puffin book. Right, let me jump down. Sean Parsons is saying the moon's never in the same place. So what I think they mean there is the moon's going to be like maybe further away or something. I don't know, maybe closer. The Watchman is saying, does this mean Pikachu cards will be more expensive with a black tip tail than the... Right, do you have a black tip tailed Pikachu? I guess they would be, right? The guy who wrote it was on Magic Mushrooms, possibly. He might have been. Listen, me26, there may be some psychedelic input here. Have you guys heard of the stoned ape theory? So one of the theories of evolution is that when, I guess, Homo sapiens, are we Homo sapiens? Anyway, whatever the humans were before, like whatever our ancestors were, I think it's Homo sapiens, or is it like Homo erectus? I think it's Homo erectus. Anyway, when like early humans were crossing the plains of North America, when we was in, I guess, like Pangaea, maybe the time of Conan. The theory was that people ate these mushrooms, right? And they were psychedelic mushrooms. Now, because they were eating these psychedelic mushrooms, like, whoa, man, I just had a massive trip. And the amount of mushrooms that they were eating expanded people's minds. It's all done wrong. Is saying, I see the moon and the sun at the same time. Yeah, lots of people do. Lots of people do. It's up, down, and all around the moon. Endeavour to Preserve is saying the moon moves away from the Earth at a rate of 3.8 centimeters a year. This gradual recession is due to gravitational action between the moon and Earth. Yes, it does. It does. That's very slow. Very slow. Right, listen, guys, I've just realized what time we're on. I didn't think this live stream would take as long. I'm just going to share this with you now. I don't, hang on, can I? So I'm just going to share this with you now. So we may be looking at 13, guys. So the crux, in this live stream, I've got 12. But this is just flashed up. So literally, this is just flashed up. And this is from like now. So military veteran with NASA ties, along with his family, transcended to beams of light in a plane crash, adding to mystery. So I don't know if that's, I don't know what that means. I'm going to have to look into that. So we could literally be looking at, now at 13, right? Done that one. Hang on, let me just done that one. I think we're done. I think we are done. Yes, I think done that one. Yeah. We are done, ladies and gentlemen. I've done all my videos. I've got all the videos. Oh, hang on. Is this one? No. That's for later. Right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you guys that are on, thank you so much. Before I go, can you do me another big favor? If you've not done so already, can you please just hit that like button? It really does help me out so much when you do that. It pumps me up in the algorithm, and I like being pumped up in that algorithm, guys. I do. I like a good finger. I like your finger on that button, and it pumps me up in the algorithm. And it's free, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as well to Cosmic144 for becoming a member. Please go and watch my members only videos as well. We've got quite a library now of members only videos. I will be coming back on very shortly, guys. I think, what time are we on? I hope to be back on at 1. I'm going to do another Prepping 101 video because a while back, the BBC, well, mainstream media, I think like last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, they started talking about food shortages coming to the United Kingdom if the war in Iran continues. Now, it's not really the war in Iran that's continuing. It's the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, right? Now, since that article was written, there's been an unbelievable amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Oil, gas, energy infrastructure just destroyed that's not in the Middle East, right? So from when that article was released, things have not just continued to be bad, they've actually got an order of magnitude worse. So I am going to be coming back on very soon, guys. I'm going to be doing another Prepping 101 video, and I'm going to be talking about the almost inevitability now of you know, food shortages in the United Kingdom. And if you're not going to be on for that, ladies and gentlemen, I will be on this evening at 8 o'clock on my usual slot. So thank you all for hanging out, guys. All you guys who've hit that like button, thank you so much for that as well. I am going to close this down now. I'll be back on later. If you're on and you've not done so already, please hit the subscribe button as well, and I'll see you guys later.